For the fans, by the fans. Welcome to the only Angels postgame show that keeps it real, win or lose. No filters, no fluff, just raw reactions right after the final out. The Golden Stamos is polished up and somebody's about to take it home. A clutch hit, a game-saving grab, or just straight up hustle. We see you. But if you played like trash, you're getting the dreaded Nacho Night Award. We saw the missed calls, we saw the blown saves, the clutch moments, and the disasters too. Your comments are front and center, and yeah, we read all of them. Wanna let loose? Call in and sound off live. No scripts, no suits, no spin. This is raw, this is real, this is where the fans take over. This is the Heady Postgame Show with Todd Fox. For the fans, by the fans.
I'm a fox. My name's Todd.
Hey, welcome in everybody to the second half of the season. It's been a minute since we've been on. I love the fact that, we're here on a Friday and we get to celebrate an Angels victory after we all know he finished a little bit short of what we wanted to get to as far as a goal for the midway point. But hey, we are what we are, and we are now 48-49, 1-0 to start the new season, which is the second half of the season. We now have 65 games left to go, 97 down. Let's see where this team goes. Again, I can't answer it enough, but I've been asked all weekend or all week, and it's the same answer that I'll give. These next 10 games are very, very crucial as far as where the Angels are going to be come trade deadline, come, hey, are we going to be buyers or sellers? You really don't know until we get to this last couple games here, which is probably going to be against Seattle. And if you do good against Seattle, by all means, they're going to freaking push. But if not, they might just push to the side and say, or stand pat altogether. There's a lot to talk about. We could talk about, we did a little draft overview a couple days ago. So if you want to get in your comments about the draft and if you thought the Angels made the right move or they didn't, please leave that in the comments. We read them all. As far as and if I don't read them right away, I get through the monologue and I eventually get to them. So if you guys are new to the show, that's the way we do things. I'll give my monologue and then freaking talk about the game. Then we get into the awards, and then we get into your comments. And if there's a comment that catches my eye during the show or during my monologue, I'll break in and jump in with that. Now, with that being said, they got the win in Philly, which again, to start the second half of the season, I will be surprised. I was very surprised, as I'm having a hard time talking right now. My voice is back though. I'm not sick no more, so that's a good thing. I could do my Gooby now. But the thing is, I did not expect the way this game was going to start, especially when they announced it before the game. I wrote to Sam Blum and I said, man, you better ask them, since you have a media credential, why the hell did they decide to go the way they did? And before I do, we are by the fans, for the fans, for the fans, by the fan. We are the Halos in the Infield Baseball Network, soon to be Ducks Network as well. So I appreciate everybody being on here and showing up. And this is what we do on the daily, and we're going to be here for the post game. So we hope that we can get a lot more wins. With that being said, damn, when I saw today all the X tweets, whatever you want to talk about, even our guys who posted the lineup, that we were going to go with a bullpen day. Is that not the most Angel thing that you've ever heard? Like, seriously. Correct me if I'm wrong, people, but didn't we have 4.5 days off? Why not reset the fucking rotation? You didn't have Kikuchi even play in the All-Star game. So he was just there to take a photo op, and that's it. You didn't tax him. Excuse me if I'm wrong, but how many times have you heard this pathetic organization, and I don't mean the players, but the people, the higher-ups, and even on television, FanDuel, on the radio, hey, we're really taxed bullpen. We are really taxed. Hey, this guy's got to rest. He can't go 2 innings. 15 pitches is his max. Hey, right? That's all we hear. Yet, right out the gate, for no apparent reason, the most degenerate gambler in our Angels fan base would not have bet the Angels would come out on a bullpen day, game 1 of the second half, on 4 days rest. Yet that's what the Angels did. The most Angel thing you would think not to happen. The Angels are like, hey, let's go for it. And they went for it. It boggles my mind still. And I think what really trips me out is they won. They literally were at that roulette table and they were like, you know what? Let's put the whole thing on number 7. And they rolled the dice, or they rolled the wheel, the spinning wheel, and it landed on 7. They fucking gambled. I don't care who asked what question, or they try to get to the bottom of the bullpen game. It was a stupid strategy. They fucking gambled and it paid off. But you still saw some quirks in this game, because although the offense came through today, you still saw the fact that they couldn't get a run in if their life depended on it. I mean, you're literally served a free run there at third base, and 2 innings in a row to get insurance runs. They couldn't do it. And then to top it off, Detmers throws 15 freaking pitches, just like Brock did a couple innings before him. And both pitchers out of the bullpen, both lefties, look great. They could have went a second inning easily. And you had, what is his name? Harper up there again. And you're like, nah, let's go Fermin. Again, what are you doing? That is like baseball one-on-one. You take the lefty-lefty matchup. I know Harper hit a home run earlier in the game against Eder. We'll talk about that in a second. But I doubt he would have hit one off of Detmers. But no, you give it to Fermin, and Fermin just grooves one to him. That is weird, bro. That is weird. I mean, just when you think, okay, the Angels won't do this, boom, they're like, the hell we will. So it's weird. And again, we won. That's the weirdest part about it. I did not have that on my bingo card, us winning this game. I thought for sure we'd come out and shit the bed right away to start the second half. And that's me not having no faith, because, again, I try to have faith in this team, but they always seem to get me. And that's why I was thinking what was going to happen. Yeah, even a slow one right there. But no, they won. I can't believe it. So user over there on TikTok says even our wins are detrimental. But the Angels win 6-5, 6 runs, 10 hits. That's very healthy to start the second half. Kenley Jansen gets the save. He was pitcher number 500 for the night. Philly scored 5 runs on 7 hits. Banks gets the loss in relief. Sam Bachman improves to 2-2 as he pitched 2/3 of an inning. The offense did this as follows: Neto with a single and was thrown out trying to steal second later in the game. Shonawell went 1 for 4, no strikeouts for 1 and 2. That's very good, but Trout said, no, hold my beer. Even though he had 2 hits, he struck out 3 times. And the last one was egregious because that was nowhere close to a ball. He struck out on that one. Taylor Ward, although striking out twice pretty idiotically late in the game, he did have the game winner. As much as I throw shade towards his way, he had the 2-run home run. And Joe Adell continues to spark fires everywhere as he went 1 for 4. Could have got a couple hits in this game, but still had nice at-bats and also working pitch counts. I really liked his game tonight. Defensively, pretty solid as well. Jorge Soler came about a few feet from a 2-home-run night as he hit a solo blast earlier in the game. You had Logan O'Hoppe 2 for 4 with a triple and a double, so it was nice to see him get back-to-back multi-hit. No, he had a single and a double, I'm sorry. And then Renifo had a rough night, 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts, and then Newman got a hit somehow. The Angels struck out 12 times. So, again, going back to old bad habits, as I think their last 8 games, they didn't strike out double digits, but they went back to it to start the second half. But they did work 4 walks tonight, so that still is pretty good. What's not good is 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position, including the last 2 were very crucial, and they were very lucky to get the win. Now, again, going over my opening statement, this team bitches and bitches and bitches about using pitchers. And then when they do use a pitcher, it's their fault because, oh, you started the inning, you can't go another inning. Or, oh, you got the last third of the inning, you only pitched one out of the inning. Oh, no, you can't start the next inning. You already pitched the third. You finished the inning. Therefore, that inning is closed. Therefore, you can't be used again. That's analytics bullshit from a bullshit analytics department in the Angels. So that's the reason why you had Zephyr John go an inning. You had Eder go 3 innings. You had because, well, he's the closest thing to a starter / longman. You had Burke go an inning and a third, Bachman 2/3, Detmers an inning, Fermin an inning, and Jansen an inning. So again, we're taxing our bullpen, guys. So guess what? We're going to remedy that, guys, by taxing our bullpen. So again, you're forcing a guy who already doesn't get a lot of run support, already struggles sometimes with not, working a lot of full counts and striking out guys, walking guys. Yes, his ERA is down. He's bend but don't break pitching, but you're now forcing a guy in all actuality to have a good 7 innings in tomorrow in Kikuchi. You're going to need a good start because why? You taxed your bullpen when you didn't need to. You could have reset the rotation and started with Kikuchi right out the gate. But no, that's conventional. That's wise. That's good way of thinking. That's real baseball. Can't do that. Must not do that. The scoring started like this in the first inning. Schwarber, I didn't know he was still in the league. He hit a home run. Soler would tie it up in the top of the second. Then Harper would hit a 3-run homer. And let's be honest. Everyone watching, everyone listening, you thought the game was over right there. Because I did. I was like, oh, shit, they're in Philly. All the momentum. They're probably going to pile on like 4 or 5 more runs. We'll score 2 or 3, and that's ball game. Credit to the Angels. I mean, yes, I was very excited, very happy. But at that point, when they hit the 3-run homer, I'm thinking, okay, this game is as good as over. But that's what we've been accustomed to. So what's different is, and different is good, Adele hits a 2-run homer immediately in the top of the 4th. So again, we're used to scoring and then giving it right back or more, right? And this time, it was good to see someone else have that dumb luck to where they scored 3 and immediately they give it right back to us, which we're not used to that. So that was nice. 4-3 right there. Then Trout would come through with a big clutch hit to score Neto and would make it 4-4. They would strand the first and third. But then Ward would come up in the 7th inning with a runner on, hit a 2-run blast to make it 6-4. And again, the mess up here was I don't understand why you don't keep a lefty-lefty, but they took Detmers out, went to Fermin. Fermin gave up a home run because that the 4-seam fastball slid off the end. It started in the middle of the plate, which is still a very hittable ball for Harper, but Harper was looking to go to left anyway, and that ball drifted to the outside corner, and he just put it over the fence. Easy home run for a superstar like himself, and that was it. It was set up for a blown save, a buttercup, but the Angels won. So winning 6-5, awesome. Angels got the victory. Was not expecting that. Couple more comments here at Tavak. Let's see. Also, did our Angels win? Yes, they did, Winford. A few others that are talking about pitchers right there. Clausen's way too early to bring brought up. Also, let's see. What else did I want to touch on real quick? Let's get to the Golden Stamos, who got the player of the game. I think what you have to do here is give it to Taylor Ward. I shit on the guy all the time. I get mad at him because of his dumb swings, his lackadaisical defense. I get upset with him because I believe there could be 2 or 3 other players that could fill his shoes and fill it good. But, he's as frustrating as he is to watch. You got to root for him because he wears angels on the front of his chest. So although he's not one of my favorite players at all, still when he comes through, I'm going to cheer for him. I get more upset with him because he makes a lot of mistakes and he goes back to bad traits like he did with that at bat in the 9th inning. So, but whatever he did in the 8th inning, it worked. And he was player of the game with that, because without that clutch 2-run homer, the Angels lose this one 5-4. So it's good to get off to a good start. Yes, I'm going to be critical. And again, I bet you every one of you can't love all 26 guys on the team. I know you're going to hate one of them. We all have our guys that we don't particularly like. Hell, I even know a lot of fans that don't like Mike Trout, can't stand him. So it is what it is. And although Joe Adele's having a great season, my girl hates Adele. So go figure. But it is what it is. The Angels win. And look, if Ward carries this to every win the rest of the season, yes, of course, awesome, great. But I can't start to get in favor of this dude again until he starts being anywhere consistent. In his entire career, he's never been consistent. Mike says Ward might have to get traded right now. I'm not gonna lie. Love what we're doing this year, but just sell. And that's what I'm saying right there too. I mean, at this point, I don't see the need in trying to waste prospects or waste players to other teams other than the veterans that we're not going to re-sign. So you got a Taylor Ward with, he's actual good trade bait because he has a year more of control. You got Kenley Jansen, who's been pitching really good, except a couple bad appearances. Then you got, Tyler Anderson, who's still a serviceable pitcher. So to a contender, he's a good 4 or 5 or a long man in the bullpen in the playoffs. So there is value to some of these players, and there's even value to Moncada if he could stay on the field. Moncada's got some good, switch hitting ability. Not great on defense, but he's got power. And he's got a good at bat. He knows how to work walks. Renifo, the same thing. So those 5 guys right there, you got to get rid of those. I think outside of those 5, you hold on to everybody else unless someone blows you away for a bullpen piece. And you hope that you can contend down the stretch. So we'll see what happens. But nice win. That's a Golden Stamos. Who got Nacho Night?
For the worst performance of the night. Congratulations. Played yourself.
Moldy cheese, stale chips, what a sight. All your dreams gone tonight. Had a bad night, lost the fight. No more crunch, just take a bite. It's the Nacho Night Award.
Now, I would say, I don't want to give it to Renifo, even though he had the hat trick. I'm not going to give it to Trout because he contributed with an RBI. He had the hat trick as well. I'm not going to give it to Brendan Marsh, although he went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts with a couple runners in scoring position. I will give it to Luzardo because coming out the break, I would have expected a non-reliever to have a good start, and he's done fairly well this season for the Phillies, gets the nod in the second half, and doesn't do anything with it. He allows 2 home runs, 7 strikeouts. He walks 2, gives up 4 runs on 7 hits, does not go 5 innings. So I expected more out of this dude, and he did not pitch good today. So that's a good sign going on with the Angels, and they got Taijuan Walker tomorrow, who's iffy at best. So the fact that they were able to get that dub against a guy who's usually on point is very good to see. So also, Tyler says, I'm losing confidence in Ohapi truly being the catcher of the future for us. If he doesn't start, catching good for the Angels, yeah, he could be in the past because we do need a defensive catcher. Now, Rally Chris says what we're all thinking right now. Angels start the second half with a win, and he's a little thirsty, so he's asking for a little spritz of clock. And by God damn it, here you go.
Yeah! I love winning, man. I fucking love winning. You know what I'm saying? Like better than losing.
Spritz o'clock, Angels play. Win or lose, we toast today. Sip and cheer, no matter score. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more.
I fucking love winning. You know what I'm saying?
Rally Chris also says, how about a yummy tasting nut? So we'll play that one real quick.
You guys are crazy. Hello, Halo Nation. Hello, Halo hopefuls, and welcome back. What's going on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson. Don't get it twisted. You've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. It's hard. It's hard. Oh, man. It feels great. Oh, yummy. Oh, how about a yummy?
Come on, man,
stop it. Come on! Magic! Oh my goodness. Guys, tasting nut
He loves to taste nuts, that guy. Also, you have let's see, they're talking about Theis right here. That's mentally that sets the franchise back years. Mike says Theis was not the smartest tool in the shed, that's for sure. Angels are 2 games above 500 against ranked teams, as you would say. Juan says the season starts tonight, baby. I don't care what anybody says, and literally it did.
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
Spritz and Stukas, we took care of that. Dan Mateo says, let's go. What a way to fight and come back. Also, although we were Schwarber and Harpered, we still won. Rally Chris says, we normally start the second half off cold. We surprisingly won. Now let's take the series. Let's fucking go. Indeed, it was a bold strategy, Cotton, as far as Big Red says, because, yeah, I don't understand the whole we talked about it, the starting the bullpen on game 1 of the second half. That's not there mentally. Also, I was worried they were going to come off the bye week shitty. Also, Mateo says, you know what, though? That coaching strategy was fat.
This fat son of a bitch is going to drown us all out. Just
calm down. He thought it was.
Okay? All right. He's fat.
Also, Saucy said, bold strategy starting Newman over Mancata. What the fuck, lame. That was pretty bad, and they still got away with it. Again, they gambled their ass off tonight and won. Rod Fox says, Trout and Ward coming through in the clutch situations. Q Lombardi. Yeah, dude, the only thing that would have made it, like, extremely rare is if Trout came through with a home run or something like that, because that would have been the trifecta. Like if he came through with something like that, because again, he did have an RBI single, and Ward did too with the 2 home runs or with a home run. But if Trout had come through in that 9th inning, yeah.
What the hell's going on out here?
Tyler says, and this is a thing, I thought about some of the comments on TikTok before, because they were mentioning Ike Irish, and Baltimore got him. Tyler was bringing that up. There was a couple others that were bringing up a couple catchers that the Angels whiffed on that went to teams that you wouldn't think they would have needed a catcher, but they did. And I think Detroit was one of them, I believe, and Baltimore was one. There was some very good players that went in the first round from the draft to other teams where I was like, boy, we could have used that guy. We could have used that guy, but it is what it is, and we'll see what happens. We're stuck with who we got. And hopefully they come through. Jesus says we're by winning, baby. We're not even winning once. Well, yeah, we are. We're winning once, and then we're not, and then we're by winning.
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
Now what? Baldwin says we are what we are. Daniel says hi. Dan says Mancata still hurt, apparently, which is crazy to think. Andrew says a little birdie told me that there's a lot of baseball left to be played. And guess what, kiddos?
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
Yes. Also, Saucy says Newman playing a sport for a living must be baffling to all athletes in the civilized world. Artie says classic Trout looking at strikes down the dick late in games. Oh, my God, Magic. Yes, indeed. Red Sox are looking at Soriano. No. We're not going to give up Soriano. Let's not do that. Baldwin says, let's give them to talk about. David says, are they a seller? Again, I would love for them to sell those 5 vets off, whether we're in contention or not. But a crazy feeling of mine, knowing this dumb organization, we will not take advantage of those again, because we're not going to get rid of those vets to sorry teams. We're going to be looking to deal them to teams that are in the playoff hunt and maybe against us. So again, you would think they're going to sell, but something tells me they're going to buy, and it's going to be detrimental to the team. What a great win tonight. Phillies were stunned. Jesus also says, but as for Angel fans, we should be cautious of how we end August 1st or until we are August 1st. And because again, there's a lot of baseball left to be played, and we need to see if we're going to be good enough to be there in the end. I have a feeling we trade for Ryan McCann since Mancata can't stay healthy. Corey really likes himself some Ryan McCann. And if we get him, I don't know if that's an upgrade, depending. I don't know, Corey, how many years he has left, but I definitely wouldn't trade a guy, an expiring contract for an expiring contract. Gio says, why Taylor Ward's so awkward in post-game interviews? I don't know, but I know he has some big-ass ears. Also, unless it's Matt's comment, Dan Rios says trade Ward while his value is good. Josh says Joe Adele will hit a homer or a double off the wall almost every game, which he's just locked in, Josh. And I will give Josh credit. I will give Angel's grandma credit. Both of those two since this season have been high on Joe Adell and have really been big fans and predicting him to break out. Now, I don't even think they think he was going to break out this much, but I do know Josh and Angel's grandma were very high on him and expecting big things from him. And I, both of them said, and I think it was Josh first said that Joe was probably going to or be an all-star snub, or he should be. And he was right. He was damn right, because I didn't think he'd be off to the tangent that he is hitting-wise, and he just looks so good at the plate. And it's really weird to say, Todd, who looks better at the plate right now? Or whose approach looks better in the box? Is it Joe Adell or is it Mike Trout? And hands down, because you would think of Trout's accomplishments, his Hall of Fame career, his pedigree, everything, you would say, oh, that's Mike Trout. Easy Mike Trout. No, absolutely not. Joe Adell looks locked in. He looks fantastic in there. And I just wish, that's the thing. That's, I think, the problem with not having a good organization to let him take his time in the minors, number one, and number two, the risk of drafting a high schooler. I think those two things were against him from the start, but I am very happy for him that he's coming through now, because if anyone deserves a high five from all the crap that he's taken from this fan base, it's Joe Adell. And you could tell the last 2 years, with his interviews, he's put in the time. You've seen him doing the workouts, but I just think this year it's finally set in and he looks fantastic. Grillmaster says, I'm Philly pretty good today. Angels win. Big Red says, really thought Kikuchi was going to throw this game. I thought so too. Also, Hoppy finally figuring it out. Oh, Dan Rios is very, hopeful on that. Y says, yep, Joe does deserve it. Ruben says, can we extend Rendon's contract for 4+ years, $200 million? Don't tell that to Scott Boras. He would take it in a heartbeat. And by the way, that's my assumption on number 6. I think number 6, the reason why you saw Artie have lunch with our boy Scott Boras is because I believe that's Scott Boras and Artie talking about potential in breaking. They probably talked about a lot of other stuff, but I think one of the topics was, how can we break free of this contract? Can we buy him out? How, will we have to pay a penalty? Can he take it? And knowing Artie's cheap ass, Artie was probably like, can he take a pay cut? So we'll see. Also, a bullpen game for opening day, part 2. Dan Rio says, who got the win anyway? I have no clue. It was Bachman. Saucy says, man, I was wrong about Joe Adell this offseason. They were spinning the dice wheel right there. Josh says, I would use Dana as trade bait. Baldwin says, sometimes you still win if you shit the bed. Also, Locked On is live. Q Lombardi. Yeah, that piece of garbage was live, I guess. His show's probably already over.
What the hell's going on out here?
Don't like that guy at all. Tamir 20 says, I was skeptical as fuck about the bullpen game, and we got the win. So was I, because Tamir actually messaged me and was like, dude, what the hell are they doing? And I said, I don't know. I think they want to lose. So that was before the game. So me and you were both wrong, homie. Y says, I believe we should trade Dana. Dana could be out there from what I heard too. Brian says, remember, Todd, it can always be worse. Giants had 11 hits today and 0 runs. That's true. Gotta look up on the upside here, guys. Tyler says the Angels signed 19 of their 21 draftees. Unofficially, the last 2 are signed. Your thoughts? That's a big dub, just like Angels fan is pouring in on TikTok. That's a big victory that we're able to sign all these guys, because again, when we drafted those 20 pitchers, we had 4 holdouts, 2 of which went on to different franchises. The other 2 went back to college. So yeah, the fact that we signed 19 out of 21, and I guess he's saying the last 2 are pretty much signed. That's good. That's really good. And we just now have to see how many of these guys are going to pan out. Dumbo found a way that should, if I was writing a newspaper, that'd be my headline. Tamir 20 says Mike choke guard is Trout. Brian says Trout had a clutch single to tie the game, at least. True. Also, that's why Grillmaster is wanting the Lombardi.
What the hell's going on out here?
Also, Baldwin says Willy Wonka management style. Brian says bullpen game is just prep for the Angels. Got to get creative pitching in the World Series. Also, Matt's Grillmaster says, Todd, you didn't know Schwarber was in the league. He's been a Philly for yes, I understand who he is, bro. I just don't hear much about him anymore. So that's why I made the sarcastic joke. I didn't even know he was in the league anymore because usually he's in all-star games. Usually he's hitting a bunch of home runs. But then again, I didn't watch the all-star game. So if he was there you go. Baldwin says different is good. Rod Fox says clipping that take, Todd said Trout was clutch. Let's fucking go. World Series, baby. Woo. Daniel Burrito says, holy shit, first game I heard Roger broadcast, and oh my God, yes. Just let Langston do it with if Terry Smith can't. Asshole fake me out on foul balls he thought were fair and with runners in scoring position and batting. Daniel, I'm sorry you had to listen to that. I think you'd been better off if you don't know Spanish, turning on the SAP button on your TV or the Spanish broadcast on your radio, Roger Lodge's voice is like this for about 3 or 4 hours. I don't know how he talks without getting a sore throat every night. He's terrible. Also, tomorrow he will honk his honk sauce, he says, as they win. My honk is tired, Baldwin says. Also, Big Red says, God, I always hated Harper. Hate him more because he's in Philly. All sports suck in Philly. There you go. Jesus also says, yes, just find a way to get that victory. Rendon or Newman? I think you take Newman at this point. Mateo says Soler with a monster blast into left field to tie this game at 1. Tyler says, oh my God, yes, Roger absolutely is horrendous. I'd take Bobby Valentine over him any day. Oh my God. I would take that New York broadcaster, the lady, Suzanne something or other. I would take her over Roger. I would take a 4-year-old that sings the national anthem or says play ball, if that's all she said for over 3 hours of broadcasting. I mean, anything. Roger sucks, dude. Also, you have here, I think we hate number 6. Jeffrey says Taylor Ward is building up lots of value. Josh says Ward doubled his home run production and OPS is the same. and that's crazy. That is crazy with him. Mateo, I'm not going to get into politics. Luzardo is very good starting pitcher, and he has very good lifetime numbers against us, which is weird. That's why I said I did not think that he was going to get the loss today, or at least pitch as bad as he did. Also, Jeffrey says, number 1 big dong fan, first time on, long time listening. I missed the dong. That's what she said. We're definitely going to get to that hopefully soon. I got to send a memo to our producer to the stars to get that one going again. Our bold strategy did pay off. Mateo says, why can't orphans play baseball? They don't know where home is. Oh my God. Mike Trout says, hey Todd, did you see my RBI? Yes, I did. Also, Mateo says, and me love you long time, which is Roger saying this.
There's a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight, which makes me so horny, and me love you long time.
Yes, me love you long time. Boy, oh boy, that guy's terrible, dude. I don't understand how he's had this job for so long.
Let me tell you something about my guy, John Stamos. So I was able to go in the back bedroom and unscrew the old
balls and running up my butt right now.
You get out of it what you put into it. John Stamos
Choked on me.
He was so great.
Grillmaster brings up Patrick O'Neill. I would take Patrick O'Neill on the radio before I would take Roger Lodge. I mean, I don't understand how you can allow that homer on there. I just don't understand. Rally Chris says, my check is about to clear. I called it months ago, 500 or 500 above my birthday. Hopefully it's above because I can't stand how they are just floundering. Jeffrey says, hey, Trout. Next time your clutch will be your first. Great eye, Trout. Stop looking at strike 3 just like the dong used to. Yes. And by the way, for those that don't know who Dong is, just Google Willie Calhoun for the Angels from last year. If you weren't part of the show, Google the picture on images where he's running, I think, in an Angels uniform, maybe Rangers. But we call him the Golden Dong because it was unfair. He came to the plate always with 2 bats, and one wasn't in his hand. It was hilarious last year when I was at the game with my girl, and I said, oh, my God, it's right there. We were sitting right behind the Angels dugout. He was batting left-handed, and his dong was swinging like the Philly Bell swings when you hit a home run. I'm like, God damn, that thing's flaccid and it's longer than a foot long. I'm like, why am I looking? I had to look away. And then I got my girl all intrigued. So yeah, dude's packing. That's why we called him the Golden Dong. So they're for those that were asking earlier why we brought up the Golden Dong. Rally Chris says, what was Papa Fox saying when we won the first? Well, because he kept complaining about the strikeouts. He said, we're going to lose this game if we can't stop making contact. We got to make contact. And then we did, and we won. Alfonso says, Mike Trout, here comes the strike 3, swing away. Nope, not today. Also, Big Red says, if we go 7-12, we sell. Rally Chris says, speaking of Moncada, Yankees, Cubs, Brewers, and Mariners are interested in him. If the Mariners offer anything, you got to push him. You got to push him to give the most they possibly can. You don't want to trade into your division. Jeffrey says there's a lot of baseball left to be played, not as much as dong on the dong. Yeah, there's a lot of dong on that bone. Adele hitting a homer and Brendan Marsh seeing it go over his head was beautiful, Alfonso says. Dan says Gooby was referring to Moncada's wrist, I believe. Can't swing righty, but can swing lefty. That actually makes sense, but Newman still sucks. And he does. And Gooby's song tonight, if you heard about it, he's like, hey, to tax the bullpen, we got to blow them out. We've got to really whip it. We got to whip that bullpen up tonight. And tonight's Gooby Tuesday on a Friday. The song is going to be Whip It by Devo because they got to whip it good tonight. So that's how that went. Also, Eric Ward says, well, we got to win in Philly. Great win, but it won't mean shit unless we take 2 out of 3 this weekend. We need to make a statement and get Newman the fuck out the lineup. Exactly. Also, Demetrio says Harper played well, way more than Trout, but neither has won jack shit. Wait, I think, didn't Harper win a World Series with Washington, or am I mistaken? Did he leave Washington before that happened? Alfonso said number 6 will be healthy next year. Maybe for a week. Revive in 25. Alfonso says locked with his 2 fans he called it a night. Number 1 comment, I love you, son. Number 2 comment, son, don't forget to take out the trash. By the way, that was hilarious when his dad walked in, like in this video right here. That was hilarious.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson, former credentialed journalist in the LA area. How about a yummy tasting nut? You guys are crazy. Hello, Halo Nation. Hello, Halo hopefuls, and welcome back. What's going on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson. Don't get it twisted. You've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. It's hard. It's hard. Oh, man, it feels great. Oh, yummy. Oh, how about a yummy? Oh, magic. Oh, my goodness. Come on. Tasting nut. Guys.
Yeah, this is too much comedy right there. Kevin took his mom to Senior Pro. James says, quickly watch the TV feed since Roger's bum sound was on the radio. Roger sound like he swallowed. Angel's grandma says, I'm so happy Joe Adele has finally gotten the opportunity to play every day. Trout is getting ready to play center field again. Does that mean Joe will go back to right field? No, Angel's grandma. Joe Adele is literally going to be your center fielder for the rest of the year and possibly next year as well. The Trout's never going to play center field again. I think the only way Trout ever plays center field again is if they're going to retire. He's on a retirement tour and he plays, a game or 2 at home in center field. They're going to want to keep him healthy. The main thing they asked him about was, how do you feel, having the break and not having to go to the All-Star game and all this other stuff? And he said, I feel great. I feel rested. And that's what's basically going to come down to that. I'm not skipping comments, Rod. Also, James says Susan Waldman, but not a hottie. Yeah, she's terrible. Also, Big Red says Gavin broke his nuts. His dad walked in. Philly cheesesteak. Rod says Ward with a Stamos. What the hell is happening? Next thing you know, we'll see Todd holding Roger Lodge in his arm at a Coldplay concert. Hey, that's the hot new thing tonight. Did we strike out 10 or more times again? Yes, we struck out 12. Mateo says, what's Trent Rush saying? Well, Trent Rush is obviously optimistic. He's like, hey, guys, I'm going to be at Brewery X on Sunday in their little garden facility, with that little fake grass. I'll be over there talking about my good friends at Brewery X and my good friends at OG's Pizza and my good friends at 714 Tickets and my good friends at Anaheim Stadium. And I'll be talking about Artie, and we're going to be talking about how great he is. And then we're going to be talking about how the Angels, no matter if they win or lose, they are the best team out there, and they're playoff ready, baby. That's what he's going to be saying. Almost there. James says, whip it good. Also, Alfonso says, Todd, I've got 2 movies for you. Arachnophobia and... Okay, I got to admit something. Eight-Legged Freaks is just dumb. But I will say the part where that stupid Black Widow sucks the blood out of that dude's chest, that gets me every time. They look incredibly fake in that movie, obviously. Bad acting all the way around. But I will say, I've watched some pretty effed up, crime stories, or I've watched horror movies. Don't get the bad dreams. Don't get any of that crazy thoughts. Nothing. Arachnophobia, to this day, scares the shit out of me. No. That movie, I can't do it. I can't even go into a pet store where they have tarantulas, and I have a couple friends who magically love tarantulas. I told the story about how I tried to hold one to break my fear of spiders, and I made it nervous, and it shot those hairs from its backside that I didn't know were poisonous, and it shot it around my eyes and on my eyelid, and I rubbed my eyes trying to get them out, but I pushed them in further, and my whole face blew up, and it looked like I got punched in the face by Tyson. So good times. I love me some spiders, but no, arachnophobia gave me monster nightmares for a long time. Also, he left the year they won. Oh, that's hilarious. I forgot about that. Also, yes, he left Washington in 2018. Fool missed the World Series. Mateo says 714 Tickets. And by the way, 714 Tickets is a place to go to get 10% off of any ticket purchase, any venue, any sport, especially the Angels, just by putting HITI in the Apply Now code. Plus, we always have our friends to talk about at Max Market Pros. If you need to get your business to the next level, they are Google certified. You can go to them for all your needs at maxmarketpros.com. You could tell them that Heidi sent you, and they will help you out with your website, social media, and your small business. With that being said, also Ambush says Gavin's Giants lost last night. Yeah, he's totally a no-cow guy. Gavin eats corn the long way. Angel's grandma says Harper left the Nationals, then they won the championship. Yes, they did. I forgot all about that. You guys are reminding me. Thank you. Ruben says I can't stand Erica Weston. Mike D says big wins. Also Spiders is pretty good too. No. Tyler says Halo's played well, plus shipping. Yeah, I would play that, but I'm going to save that for next week. By the way, if you want some Heidi swag, please go to Shopify. Go to Shopify and type in Halos in the Infield. And you'll see some awesome shirts and hats all on sale for your spending needs, and it helps the show out. So really hope you guys can check that out. It's on Shopify, not Spotify. No, there's no spider there. Also, Gavin's dad asked me if he wanted to watch the movie Anaconda. Cue Gavin's comment. X-Files is the truth. Strange says, enjoying the show and the comments. And by the way, D's nuts. Thank you, Strange. I believe this is his first or his favorite saying, and that is our boy Gavin.
These nuts. Got him. Got him.
My lips, you're ruining it. Ruining.
Yes, Shopify has Spotify. Also, wow, the Tigers about to lose 5 games in a row, losing 2-0 to the Rangers. Adopt a jumping spider. They have a personality. No, I'm not adopting any spider whatsoever. Also, remember when Todd said the TikToks. You're a dick, Tyler. You're a dick. James says spiders are helpful, kind of. They eat bugs and ants. I did not know that, James. Look at James coming out there with the facts. Dick. Yeah, I still love you. Andrew says Trout finally looking like Trout. He does have a better swing, but still need the Mariners to get swept by Houston this weekend. Yeah, the division's kind of out of shape for us. So we do need some help from the Mariners to lose. They need to help us out that way. Now, Angels getting the win. I got to get into something real quick before we get into some more comments, and that is and I've been promising this, but I slacked off because when I had the time off, I didn't finish the video that Randy made. I just got to do the voiceover for it, and they'll greater detail what you need for the Ohapi event on September 7th. If you want to hang out with us, place, if you're good at bowling, even if you're not, if you want to hang out, again, the price sounds steep, but for whatever you're getting is worth it, and it's going to a good cause. So the original price without our Heedy code is $135. However, for $115, because you get the 10, no, you get 20% off. Halos in the infield, you get to bowl with us on our team. You get a shirt and you get a hat, and then you get a free autograph from Logan Ohapi, and you get to meet and greet with all the ball players there. So that's what we're giving away. Plus, we're going to have some probably extra baseball tickets. So it'll be September 7th. So you'll be able to go to a September game. And if the Angels are in it, well, there you go. And so you have that to look forward to if you go online, and I'll have the link there for you. Or you can go on the Ohapi thing right now and find it. But right now I'll have all the information there. But yeah, you come on. And then we need 2 teams. So 2 teams will be either 3 or 4 people. So it'll fill up quick once I bust the link out on social media. Haven't done it yet, but I'm just giving you guys and gals a little advance right now if you want to check it out. If you have any questions, you can DM me at Halos in the Infield podcast at yahoo.com. And then I could send you the link to get the early jump on it, because if not, I'm going to be doing the social media tomorrow. And then we'll basically be filling those spots up pretty good. So it'll be cool. It'll be really cool. I'm looking forward to it. It's on September 7th. And also 714 Tickets has given me a Diamond Club suite. And what does that mean? Have you ever sat in the Diamond Club at Angel Stadium? Well, if you want to, I'm going to have some tickets. I'm going to get the game, and I will be able to give away Diamond Club tickets to whoever I want to. And so we might play a game for it, might do something easy, something you don't have to pay for, because I want these tickets to be totally free and a gift from us and 714 Tickets. So I was just made aware of that. Ron Holt hit me up today and said, hey man, I got some Diamond Club tickets for our anniversary of 714 Tickets company. We want you to give away a pair or maybe a few pairs to an upcoming Angel game. So thank you, Ron. And to our loyal listeners, man, I look forward to giving away some Diamond Club tickets to you just for being cool people and being part of the show. So there you go. So that's something to look forward to. And then I'll have some other game day tickets moving ahead here in the second half. They're going to be throwing me some tickets. My boy, Dan Edwards, who's setting up the Logan Ohapi charity event, he's going to be throwing me some tickets to some upcoming games. I've got some tickets myself through 714. So I'm going to be spreading the wealth. So stay tuned and, just be you, be cool. And I'll be passing out some tickets to everybody right there. So if you need some tickets, I will take care of you. Let's see. Misreading comments versus not reading Matt's comments. Big Red says Gavin needs Larry H. Parker. He fights for you. Nat Geo, bro. Also, thank you. For the Growmasters, Todd. Get out of it what you put into it. I already played that soundbite. Brandon says, thank you for beating the Phillies. You got to let me know what team you came from so we can because that could be anyone in the East. Mario says, we won Q Lombardi. And that's exactly how I felt, because I had no idea we were going to win when it was a bullpen game to start the game out.
What the hell's going on out here?
No idea. Let's see. Are you going to be bowling? Yes, I will be. Or are you good at bowling? Yes, I am actually. I average I think my average is around 185 to 200. So I usually, if I don't get a strike, it's usually a spare, and I may leave like 1 or 2 frames open, but most of the time I get a spare. So at least I keep it. I've never bowled a perfect game or nothing like that, but like I think the highest I ever got was like a 240. But I'm pretty decent, so I could hold my own. So yeah, I mean, if people want to come out and bowl, like I said, we need 2 teams of at least 3 for max. So that'd be great. But everyone that pitches in gets all that swag and then gets to bowl with us right there. Bowling is fun, and he's a Braves fan. So Brent, so there you go. You're welcome. I hope the Braves can get back into it. It's fun. It's better when the Braves are in contention. Jeffrey says, I heard that there was a battle between Marsha and the Dong. Do you know who won? I heard a little birdie told me that the Marsha was able to handle the Dong. So that's what I heard, but I can't confirm that. Tamir 20 says, damn, Tigers beat the Rangers. Yes, I know. I wish they would. Baldwin says, busted out, Todd. No, I can't. This is a family show. Mario says, what do you have with 50 government employees and 50 lesbians? See, that's a good joke. But still a bit on the 100 people that you may have kids on. Brandon says, I'm pulling for you guys to get into the playoffs. Thanks, Brandon. I've never had a problem with the Braves. Never. Even back in the day, I couldn't stand the Yankees when they had the team going, and I rooted for the Braves back then too. The only time I didn't want the Braves to win was when they beat the then Indians. And I was actually rooting for the Indians in that World Series, I think in 95, but because I did like the Indians too. And I just felt bad for them because they had not won. So I was happy the Braves won because they had been and not won. But when the Indians lost, I felt really bad for them. I rooted for them again, I think when they took on the Marlins, and they lost that one too. But now that they're the Ohio shitfucks, I could care less. They shouldn't even be a baseball team. No, I'm not, Baldwin. Yes, Brendan, you go. Eric Ford says, hey, you think Trent jizzed along with Roger tonight? Absolutely. Todd is, man. Will you guys stop? Goofy, let's talk trucks. Jeffrey says, how big was that ball you bowled? See, I can't trust you guys. I'm over here being nice, talking about giving away tickets, and you're talking about me spreading. Andrew says, Schwarber is an animal, free agent this winter. I just don't like his batting average, dude. Strikes out way too much. Albert says, no pinches mama's way. We actually beat the Phillies, Das Phillies, or S Phillies. Mike Trout says, as soon as Harper hit the home run, gave me flashbacks to 2022 Grand Slam. I said, not again. That was, damn, who was pitching that day when he hit that Grand Slam? Because didn't that start the big losing streak, or that kept the losing streak going? I think it kept the losing streak going. Alfonso says the Tigers are not coming out of the AL. Dude, they were on such fire. Dude, I can't believe that. Demetrius says, Todd, sorry, you can't remind me. Sorry, can you remind us why you hate the Guardians? Yeah, they sold out. They basically sold out. Again, that the Indians were named after, again, I'm 30% Native American, and dude, Shumash, and it's nowhere close to where the guys that were playing for the Indians, who were the Spiders, became, they were named after because they were the first Native Americans to play baseball. So they were before African Americans got into the league. So that's pretty big. Now, one can argue, okay, the face on Chief Wahoo could be considered a bit racist. Okay, so you take away the smile and you give him a mean-looking face, or you give him a proud-looking face, or you just put the C there like they had when they got rid of Wahoo. Fine. But to change the name to the Guardians, which makes no sense, and they're trying to say, oh, those bridges in over Ohio. I don't give a fuck. There's way better names to name it than the Guardians. It's so stupid. That's why I call it the Ohio shitfucks, because, again, you sold out a proud people that loved it. And then the only ones that were caring about it were basically people in a certain, political way of thinking that had no race or racial ties to Native Americans. You had very few Native Americans that were offended by that. And the one that appalled me even more was Washington, like football. I still don't get it. That was literally the Redskins was after it was painted by a Native American. The logo was designed by Native Americans to honor one of their best heroes and greatest warriors of all time, and you took that away from them. It's the dumbest thing. And I hope they win that lawsuit. I really do. What's up, Max? Mateo says cars for kids, Todd. No, I can't get into that one either. That's another thing, man. If you know the backstory for cars for kids, no, you'd be pissed every time you saw that commercial. Alfonso says, hey, what's the exit velocity? Todd, oh yeah, it was Raciel Glacius. Mike Trout said. Also, Todd is spread. Gavin, oh, stop it. Max says, will my Angels ever win a World Series in my lifetime? And I wasn't alive for the first time they won, and I hope that they win one before I die. Well, Matt, I had to wait 21 years for them to win a World Series, or at least 15 years for them to win, because I became a real fan that started paying attention around 6. So 15 years. When I was 21, they won a World Series. So that should date me right there. Todd gave Cleveland the pass. No, I didn't. Also, Brandon says, yeah, I'm the same way. I liked when Cleveland was called the Indians instead of the Guardians. Tamir 20 says Cleveland Indians, a.k.a. cancel culture conformist. 1877 cars for kids. KARS. No, I'm not going to ride the white horse, Eric. Frederick says Louis Sakalaitis, full-blooded Penobscot. See, I can't even. Indian player of the Cleveland Spiders. So Louis Sakalaitis. I wish I could say that right and honor him, but I can barely talk English. So me trying to speak is no good. Oh man, Penobscot. Man, either you're spelling that wrong or I'm just no English. Also, Eric Ward says, you know what you want to. No, I don't want to. Edger says it's not time to quit, damn it. It's time to swing away. Alfonso says, Cleveland. Have you ever heard of anyone saying we're getting the family together and going to Cleveland? What's so great about Cleveland? I've never been to Ohio, but I have friends that live there, and they moved to Toledo of all places. And yeah, they don't exactly like it too much. Big enough to deal, small enough to care. Adele says hello. See what you did there, Andrew. With that dumbass G on their uniforms, it makes it too easy. The Cleveland Gooby says, hey, that's my line. James says, also, Max says, man, I wish I was alive during the 2002 World Series. Man, oh man, it was a great time. But hopefully, yes, you will see it someday. But it may be with a new owner. And I don't think we'll have the same reverence for Artie if he's passed on and there's a new ownership. I don't think they'll have Artie's picture up there like they had the Cowboy. Mike Trout says 714 tickets. Isaac checks in with, I've had to wait 22 years as a fan to see a World Series winner. Also, Alfonso says cars for kids now takes real estate, boats, and cash. Yep. And they don't, like I said, they don't exactly give it away to underprivileged kids. It's more like they give it away to privileged kids. Rally says Astros are trying to score. They have runners on the corners with 2 outs and Altuve. Baldwin says Todd sacrificing Locked On Angels livers to the sun gods. Okay. Yes, we are cheering for the Astros over the Mariners. We have to. Let's see. So I got into a lot of things here tonight.
What's on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson, former
Gavin.
credentialed journalist in the LA area. How about a yummy tasting nut?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
It always does, because he always gets those nuts.
Oh no! What happened? Oh no! How terrible! That's just awful! How terrible! Oh
no! Rally Chris says, I was 9 years old when the Angels won the 2002 World Series. It's been a long time. What would I do without my Angels? My Angels are the best team in the MLB. Well, Max, I would tell you to put down the beer. But no, I would love for the Angels to get back to those glory days. It's been a while. It was fun just being, in the playoffs every year, knowing that you had a playoff team on the field starting game one. Like if everything went right, you were going to go to the playoffs. And I love those days. I really love those days. But it's been so long ago. Alfonso says Joakim Noah loves Cleveland 2010 NBA playoffs. Gavin gets those nuts. He sure does. Eric says it's hilarious when an 11-year-old refers to the Guardians as a shit fucks. Thank you, Todd. You're welcome, Eric. I love your son. Your son really he's not shy, to say the least. But you know what I might have to do? I might have to have my boy make him a jersey that says shit fucks on the front. That would be awesome. You know what? I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to be jealous. I'm going to make him one and make me one, because I need one too. I just need to walk around with in small letters in cursive on top of the of shit fucks. He'll just say Ohio on the top. Kyle Tucker, next year free agent. I could see the Angels doing that because they value a hard-hitting, home run hitting first baseman, and he's good with a glove too. So we'll see. Alfonso says, what happened? That what happened guy looks like he's from Cleveland. By the way, man, you think the guy who used to play drums at the Cleveland Municipal Stadium all the way through Jacobs Field and whatever it's called now, that guy's probably rolling over in his grave. I know he passed away a couple years before they became the shit fucks. But you just want to talk about a guy who never missed a game. That guy was there every game. And I think I was talking about this with James the other day. I wonder what he would be thinking about right now. Because, man, his team got robbed. I mean, his whole shtick was dressing like a Native American, which if he did that today, he'd be racist, right? I mean, just Jesus. Also, no one goes to Cleveland for vacation. Mario says, hey, Todd, you know that Rally Chris' birthday is this month. You don't say. I forgot all about that, Mario. I mean, he's got he hasn't. I don't think he's posted enough about it, to be honest with you. I don't think that we have enough updates because, with the baseball season going on and work and everything, I tend to forget. So shout out to Rally Chris. I think you need to up your game the closer it gets, because I might forget. I might have plans on the 25th. I don't know. Max says, I'm 16-year-old buddy. I can't drink yet, and I was not even in the womb in 2002. Sorry, Max. I'm sorry. I'm just being sarcastic. But you can't have a near beer. You can have that. Cleveland, the mistake by the lake. Also, Mario, it's next. Well, see, there he goes. It's next Saturday, July 26th, everybody. So be there in attendance. Also, Demetrius says, I see everyone above us in the wild card standings, and I just can't see us sneaking in. It's too tight to get in. Hashtag pause. Gerard says, even Wardy hater Todd gave him some love. I did, Gerard. I had to. Andrew says, Newman going to be our everyday starter in 2 weeks. Hell no. That's if we gut the team. Alfonso says, Gavin and the Halo brothers are going to Cleveland for vacation. Gerard says, sweet to see Odell hitting that dong over Marsh. Marsh looks again like Halo Marsh, sub 700 OPS. Even with his struggles, I'd still want Ohapi over Captain Caveman. Yeah, because he can't catch. I do like his game, but yeah, he's had a bad year this year. Mario says, I'm going to your birthday rally. I already got the tickets. There you go. Eric says he'd wear that jersey. I know he would. From the mid-70s on, those drums. Yeah, it's crazy, James. That's what he almost did it 50 years, or he did do it 50 years. It was like 45 years. God damn. Oh, there you go. Max was born in 2008. James says, I swore Chris' birthday was next year already. Let's see. What age did I start drinking, Todd? That would be Max's age. I started drinking around when I was 16. No dead spiders here. Raleigh gives an important update. He says, breaking news. Todd, my birthday is July 26th, but my birthday party game is Friday, July 25th on Zach Neto bobblehead night. So everyone's got to give me the bobbleheads. Oh, no, he didn't say it. He just said my group section's in 306. Let's see. Also, has something else here. Another comment was pulling up. No, it didn't pull up right here. Big win for the Halos today. Keep it rolling. Angels did get the big W today. And, again, I'm very happy to play the Stukas, and I wasn't expecting to play that today because the Angels were doing the whole, starting off with the opener and all that. It just didn't make any sense. But dude, a win's a win, and to start off the season again, the next 9 games, if you look at it right now, you have 2 more with Philly. By the way, tomorrow's game is at 3:00. Then you got 3 in New York with the Mets, which is going to be difficult. And then you got a 4-game homestand against you have a 7-game homestand, but 4 games right away, right before the trade deadline against the Seattle Mariners. I'm telling you, these 9 games, and it might come down to that last Seattle game. They might make up their like, say, for instance, they win the first 2 or they lose the first 2 against Seattle. That could seal their fate, whether they're going to be buyers or sellers. But that series is definitely when they're going to make the decision, okay, we're in this to win this, or we're just going to say screw it. Andrew says, also nice we signed everyone from the draft this year. Brandon says, I hope you guys can sweep the Phillies and Mets. Believe me, Brandon, I bring some of that good juju our way. I would love to do that because I would love to get the W and be in this. Again, I want to be rooting for winning baseball in August and September, or at least competitive. Demetrius says that, Max, you've only seen the Angels stank-ass baseball. Man, that sucks. You missed 02 to 09. It was fire. Almost 3 World Series. He's right. Could have won 3 World Series almost. Angels also made my prediction that the Angels will call up the number 2 pick this season. I don't think so, Mike. I think they're going to wait. I can't wait for them to sweep the Mets, and Frank the Tank loses his shit. Alfonso says we need a winning streak. Angels fan first. What is up, my friend? He's checking in over here on YouTube. He says W. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the page. It really helps us out. So if you haven't already, please hit that like button. But most importantly, subscribe to the page and get those updates. Mario says, since when do the Angels make sense? Q Lombardi. Never! We haven't made sense since Disney. And that's saying what the hell's going on out here? Also, win tomorrow, swing away, Trout. Rally Chris says there's rain in the forecast tomorrow, so let's see if we can get the game in. Yeah, I don't want to play a doubleheader on Sunday. Max says, how are you allowed to drink at 16 years old? Well, there's the whole point. I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying I did it. I had family members as well as my brother-in-law trying to get in good with me because he was banging my sister, and he would give me alcohol. So he would say, hey, you want to play my video game system? And then he'd go sneak off into the room with my sister. So I was supposed to be the what's it called? The third wheel, when my parents were out, or, they actually trusted me to be some sort of deterrent for my sister. But yeah, I was easy to bribe. 500 so close yet so far away. Eric Ward says the heart of rock and roll is still beating, and it ain't in Cleveland. Series prediction for the Phillies and Mets. Damn, bro, you got some stories. Thanks, Brett. I do. I have a ton of stories. And if you want to hear more, well, not those kind of stories, but I do a crime podcast with a couple of my friends. It's called Grinding True Crime. It's actually way bigger than I want the baseball network to get as big as the crime one. The crime one took off. We're being heard in about 15 different countries, like as far as like big major countries. I get emails where I have to Google Translate because our stuff is translated too. So like they're able to, other languages are picking it up. It's pretty cool. And we get people writing us from all over. Grinding True Crime, we hit on true crime stuff. So if you like true crime, or you know someone that does, refer them over. It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. I enjoy doing that too on the side. Oh my God. We need to lock in tomorrow. Is 500 a myth? Series prediction real quick. I can't really do it, dude. I'm going to be stupid on this one and just go one game at a time. And tomorrow looks good because I like Kikuchi taking on, what's his name? I had it right now, but I'm going to pull it up just in case right here. Taijuan Walker. He's been around in the league forever. Walker's not having a bad season, but he's not having a good season either. He's been in and out of the rotation because of injury. He's 3-5 with a 3.55 ERA, 58 innings pitched, 52 hits allowed in those 58 innings, 49 strikeouts, but he's walked 24 guys. So he can be wild, and he has given up 7 home runs in half the amount of innings that Kikuchi has, which Kikuchi has 14. He has walked double with 49, so those two are not good for him, but his all-star numbers come from the strikeouts per innings. He has 115 to 113 innings pitched. He's only given up 106 hits, and he has a 3.11 ERA, 4-6 record. So tomorrow, I'm hoping Kikuchi can go long in this game and give us some innings. That would help out. As far as the standings are concerned, as of right now, because it's up to date right now, Angels are sitting at 3.5 out. But again, we need Seattle to lose tonight to Houston to get us an even 3 out. Texas is 3 out as well. Tampa Bay is 1 out. Behind us is the shit fucks at 4, Twins at 4, Royals at 5, and the Orioles, I don't think they're going to be in it the rest of the way. They are now 8 games out of that final wild card. Yes, PlayStation for sex. And I'm not you too, Dan. I'm not skipping posts or anything. Also, my trust is Gavin. Demetrius says Crime Podcast is prime. Listen to it all the time. It's A1 content. Really appreciate that, Demetrio. Crimes with a twist. Archangel says, where's the baby oil? You have to provide it, my friend. Angels fan first says, let's sweep the Phillies and let's sweep the Mets. I'm hoping, look, every game that they can get some dubs, man, is a good night for the Angels, good day for the Angels. So again, I had no confidence. If you were to tell me how much would you put on this game for the Angels to win, how confident are you? Here's $500. How much of that $500 are you going to put down to win the game for the Angels, or calling the win? I would say 20 max. I did not feel that they were going to beat the Phillies tonight. But again, whenever this team scores 4 or more, their freaking odds go up so high. I mean, now they are 36-15 when scoring 4 runs or more, compared to the dismal record that they have when they can't. So again, I mean, if they get to 4 runs, even if it's early in the game tomorrow, I think I'm going to feel pretty confident. Story time with Todd, bring the beer. Also, you should do a show on the DB Cooper mystery. I haven't done that one yet, Eric. We've done a lot of serial killers. We've done some abductions. We've done some unsolved. We did. I actually had some family that came on to tell their stories because the police weren't giving it the buzz that it should have got. Yeah, we've done a lot of crazy mysteries too. A lot of unsolved too, but have not done the DB Cooper one because that's more like just I guess him stealing or getting away with money, which is kind of in our genre, but it's mostly like we deal with death. So and twisted stories like cult stuff too. So if you're into that dark stuff and you can handle it, yeah, that's definitely it's definitely unfiltered over there on Grinding True Crime. Andrew says, wish number 6 was on the Epstein list. Sean Will is legit. His stash is legit. James says, shout out to Dominic, who's doing play-by-play for the Quakes right now. Exactly. He's down there doing our affiliate right now, their stuff down there. He's really good at it. So Dominic will be part of the Ducks broadcast once Ducks season starts. So we're happy about that. Now we'll have all the official stuff on Monday as far as how we're going to do the Ducks season coming up. Brandon says, what's your favorite Angels logo? I'd have to go with a regular A. So no, actually I'll go with a CA. The California Angel one, I love that one, but the original A over there is sick too with the baseball. I used to always get baseball cards like that. I don't know. There's just a lot, dude. I mean, the only one that I really didn't like at first was the old Disney pinstripe one, but I kind of like it now that it's gone, but at the time didn't like it. Rally Chris says, I'm calling it right now. The Angels will be over 500 when they return on home day for my birthday party, and you can take that to the bank and deposit it. Max also says, did you say Ducks season like the Oregon Ducks? No, like the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, of Los Angeles, of Central California. No, actually the Anaheim Ducks. Yes, Rally Chris is right. We're going to be doing Ducks hockey on here as well. So, yeah, there you go. So I think we're all caught up for tonight. Again, with a pitching matchup tomorrow, I do favor the Angels, but that's not me being biased. I actually do think we have a pretty good chance. Before we get out of here, let me get into the scores because some of them do matter. Again, we are more than halfway through the season. It was game 97 tonight. There's 65 of these guys left to go. So, in essence, there is a lot of baseball left to be played.
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
Hey, the Rockies are winning tonight 6-4 over the Twinkies. So that kind of helps us out because they're a game back of us. The Diamondbacks are shutting out the Cardinals 6-0. Mariners and Astros are in the fourth inning. Currently, no score. The Dodgers and Brewers are going head-to-head in the fifth inning. No score there. Cubs over the Red Sox 4-1 earlier today. You had the White Sox pounding the Pirates 10-1. You had the Padres over the Nationals 7-2. Blue Jays defeat the Giants 4-0. Reds over the Mets 8-4. You had the Marlins coming back and beating the Royals 8-7. You had the Shitfucks over the Athletics 8-6. The Yankees get bombed by the Braves 7-3. Tampa Bay obliterates the Orioles 11-1. And the one that kind of hurts us right now, the Rangers defeat the Tigers 2-0. So again, depending on what happens tonight, we'll gain some ground. If not, we don't gain ground. We just keep pace. So hopefully gotta go for the fucking Astros. So that's what's going on right there in the majors for tonight. All-Star game was boring to me. I did not like the home run walk-off thing, but maybe that's just me being the get off my lawn guy. But I would have loved for them to play a little extra innings right there. Mario, a few more comments. We'll get out of here. Mario says Marcia is into dark stuff or getting stuffed in the dark. Eric Ward. I love Mario, dude. He's like the chillest dude. Eric says, I think a podcast on Bigfoot, aka Marcia, would be good as well. Speaking of, did you see the ESPYs when they were just slamming the WNBA? Shane Gillis with those jokes, man. I that was the funniest one was when he said, let's give it up for what's her, like he mentioned this girl's name. And he said 4-time All-Star. And I was like, dude, that's not a real player. And sure enough, that is not a real player. Everyone clapped. I was like, damn, it's right. I mean, like, even with Caitlin Clark, it's just not watchable. Also, no sports this weekend was brutal. Nice to have a W to start the weekend. Yes. Mario says never eat hot dogs at G barbecue. I heard they taste like shit. See, I can't say that word and repeat it because it's, it gets everyone's panties in a bunch. And then if I were to say it, I could get doxxed by freaking YouTube. So I try to stay away from those. So even though you guys push for it, can't do it. Even I have my limits. I mean, yeah. Mario says, let's go Angels. Also, Brandon says it would be better if they would just do away with the All-Star game. And that could be at some point. You never know, because if you think about it, all the All-Star games, NHL did it, and they did a really good thing and had an in-season tournament. And think about it. What gets a ton of ratings in baseball? The World Baseball Classic. So what if you were to get rid of American League versus National League and you just said, hey, let's play a tournament with the 6 best teams from the World Baseball Classic. Let's get together the best hitters, or just have a World Baseball Classic, short tournament. Take a week off and play a few games during the week. I think that would be great. I think the fans would dig it, man. And then you just vie for the best in the world instead of playing the World Baseball Classic in spring training when a lot of guys get hurt because they haven't stretched themselves out, haven't had a good offseason workout. Have it in the middle of the season. Have a World Baseball Classic. That would be amazing. That would be cool because, again, people's national pride comes out, and there's nothing wrong with that. So it's like if you're here in America and you have Dominican background or you had Dominican parents, man, you're rooting for Dominican. There's nothing wrong with that. Root for Cuba, root for Mexico, root for Korea. The vibe is great because each fan base, each culture brings a different vibe to the stadium. If you've ever been to a World Baseball Classic, or if you haven't, I suggest you go because they're phenomenal. They're really cool. So I dig it, and I kind of sucks to me that they don't do it every year. I see why they don't. I wish they would, But I think the spring training stuff is kind of stupid because, again, players aren't, that's why you have all these oblique stuff. That's why you have all those injuries sometimes, and they shit on it. That's why Diaz messed himself up. If you're playing in the middle of the season, you're not going to have those injuries. You're just not. So I think that should be something that should be talked about in the bargaining agreement. I think bringing that around would be awesome. Eric says WNBA is unwatchable. Max says, I love the Halos and Infield postgame show. This is the best postgame show I've ever been around on the Angels. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Max. Thank you, because I grew up with AM 830, and AM 830 sucks ass. And listening to Roger just being overly positive no matter what is on the field, it makes you want to bang your head into the wall, and it just does. It's terrible. Corey says, if the Angels sweep the Phillies and take 2 out of 3 from the Mets, you think we are buyers of deadline. Corey, if you get out of New York and Philly winning 4 out of 6, yes, you're thinking, okay, what are we going to do the first 2 games of Seattle? If somehow they split, it's still up in the air. But if they win those 2 games, the first 2 at home against Seattle, and you've won 6 out of 8, you best believe they're buyers. Who they're going to get, I have no freaking clue, because there's not much capital there. It's sort of like if you walk into a Carl's Jr. nowadays, well, like back in the days, you can get like combos for cheap. You could stretch $5 to $10 at a freaking Carl's Jr. Try to stretch $5 to $10 at a Carl's Jr. today. You can't even, I don't even think you can get a big Carl. So again, that's how the Angels are going to go into the play, the trade deadline. They're going to walk in there kind of like pulling out their pockets, looking for spare change, while other teams can come because they have the capital. I don't think the Angels have the capital. It would make it more competitive. It would, Brandon. Also, let's go back here because I missed on a few of these comments right here. WNBA is unwatchable. Swing off is better than a tie. That is true. I'll give you that one, Tamir 20. Dan says, yeah, you skipped my Cleveland G joke. It's in special needs. Andrew says, John Stamos makes me so horny. Mara says, sorry, bro, I can't help myself sometimes. Q Lombardi. It's okay. I'm not saying you're a bad person.
What the hell's going on out here?
Eric says, All-Star game has sucked for a long time. It's an outdated concept. Mateo says, high school football season starts in 2 weeks. He's ready to go. Also, yes, get rid of the NBA All-Star game. That was the worst one. Don't forget to vote for Bonds. Bonds should get in for sure, even though he's a dick. Riley Chris says, fucking Astros now losing 1-0 to the Mariners through 4. James Malou says, Roger was doing play-by-play today, and I turned it off. Good, as you should. As you should. Eric Ward says, Bonds is never getting in. EQ says, what's up, Todd? What's up, my man? Also, the old show was hosted by Bob Starr. I bet maybe only Halo Joe would remember that. No, I do too, Dan, because I used to listen to my radio, and I would listen to Bob Starr on the radio. He was pretty good. So EQ says, what if they trade Ramon Anthony, that other top prospect, Myers, and also Jaron Duran for Soriano? So he's saying, what if the Red Sox were to give us Duran out? Duran, Myers, I don't know about Anthony, but I do know Myers is good, or at least was formerly good. Jaron Duran's solid. Oh, man. I don't know. I do like me some Soriano, man. I do. I don't want to give up on him yet. I think he has an opportunity to be a Kelvin Escobar, which was one of my favorite Angel pitchers. I love that dude. Mateo echoes. I echo that too. Makes me mad that Urinal Cake is reinstated. Yeah, Cyclops got reinstated. And that is Urias, that wife beater. So that sucks. Brian says the swing off was great to end the All-Star game. I don't really go with that, but hey, everyone has their own damn opinion on that. I wish it would have did something else, but like I said earlier, like you guys said, it's better than a tie. Tamir 20 is right. Brandon says, are you a Clippers fan or Lakers? Neither. When I used to watch basketball, I'm one of those old hats. I love the 90s basketball play, early 2000s. I think when Kobe, Nowitzki, Tim Duncan, Vince Carter, guys like that started to fade away. Tracy McGrady, the league died. They played just open 3-point shooting, no defense. And, yeah, it wasn't fun anymore. And plus my team got yanked away, and the team that was yanked away won the championship. So fuck Oklahoma. Mateo also says, Todd, when is the studio tour coming? Whenever you guys want to come down. I mean, I trust some of you. So no, just kidding. No, if ever, like, I've had a few people here, Grill Master's been here. So the studio is not as big as you think. What's bigger than my studio is my dad. I helped him build, because obviously, when my mom passed, I couldn't let him live alone. So like he's been living with us, and like he needed a hobby, so we built a train set, and we've been working on it for like it's actually been done the last year and a half. But damn, dude, the freaking the train set's as big as the garage, and so it's freaking huge. It is really huge. Todd Fox is the best person I've ever known who loves Angels. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Also, Brian says Aaron Boone fucked it up by not having Aaron Judge swing instead of Rhonda. Here's a thought. Eric says, what if the Halo brothers had a Hall of Fame vote? I'd shoot myself, because that would be so unfair. Todd, can we have the MLB back with the Montreal Expos? That would be great to have them in Montreal. That would be awesome. They are one of the teams that are one of the cities that are vying for a new team. That's for sure. Angels party at Todd's house would be badass. I do have the deck, because when we have I have a deck that I built in the back, and I'm actually doing some more work on it. James can attest to this if he's still on there. We've had Super Bowl parties back there, and it could hold about a good 60 to 70 people. So yeah, it's pretty massive. I have a big backyard. Dan says, it was fun ending the All-Star game. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I should have, it would probably scare my girl, but yeah, no, I mean, I think I wouldn't have problems with fans of the show coming, because I know most of you through here, and I don't think anyone's crazy. So, if I let Grill Master here, I'm not scared of anybody. Just kidding, Grill. Dan says it was fun ending the All-Star game with the Big Boppers left the game early. Assholes are only thinking about themselves, not the fans. Judge versus Ohtani. Dude, you're all right. See, if Judge versus Ohtani in a swing off, that would be huge. Huge. Tyler says, I'd love to see Todd's huge deck in person. Maybe we should do that. I want to see Todd pop off on a Halos rant. Yeah, I get pretty animated. The swing off was lame. See, there's some people that love it, some people that hate it. Mateo says Lions and Bills Super Bowl. You could take that to the bank and deposit it. Brian says pool party at Todd's means that there's a chance the thong makes an appearance. Could be. I just have to say. Eric says Lions aren't going to the Super Bowl. No fucking way. Demetrio says I'll bring my fam. You can meet my kid. Laugh out loud. He's a diehard 1-year-old Angels fan. There you go. He's a 500 baby for now. But yeah, maybe we'll do that here. Let's see. I will say it was nice seeing the players wear their own uniforms. Absolutely. I want to see Papa Fox and Mantat. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, and my dad, you have to get him. Like, I should have him on the show. I think I'll do that. I'll have him on the show here pretty soon, because my dad tends to let loose. Last time he was on, he was a little nervous because of the new setup, but I think he'll be more himself. And he does remind me so much of the teacher from Fairly Odd Parents, the cartoon. Because he does start like Stephen A. Smith, real low at first. But then he starts to think about what he's going to say, and he starts to raise his voice when he's trying to make a point. And then he goes back to just regular old Ronald Reagan type voice. So that's my dad in a nutshell. Brian says no one has talked about Christian Moore. Can't wait to get him back. Yeah, dude. A lot of people, including myself, can't wait to see what he does in these final 60 games. I believe he will be back for the Seattle series, maybe even the Mets series. But getting him back in the lineup is going to be amazing. And again, we're not going to see the best of him this year, and maybe not next year, but we're going to see that ascension. And we haven't seen the best of, Neto yet. And I don't think we've seen the best of Shonawell yet either. So these guys are going to continue to ascend. And as they do, I will say this about Christian Moore. I've said it before and I'll say it again. He's might get better, like talent-wise, faster than Neto. He could surpass him. Something is telling me that this guy, although El Capitan will be Neto, freaking Moore is going to just, I don't know, like just not show him up in a bad way, but just ball out better than he is. So I think he's gonna. It's gonna be a fun lineup. If anything, I mean, if you could throw away your hatred for Artie and just root for the players on the field, and it's hard to do because Artie's such an asshole. Man, he's gonna be a fun player to watch. I can't wait for him to get back on the field either. And you guys are bringing up Chris Taylor too. Andrew says, I hope we DFA him, but he's rehabbing. He's actually playing really good. And if you have to give me a choice, 7 times out of 7 during the week, I'm going to DFA Newman. If you give me a choice between Chris Taylor and Newman, it's Newman every day. Chris Taylor's got to stay. Because at least with Chris Taylor Ward sucks in the outfield, and if you don't have his bat, even when Taylor's not playing, you can say, hey, we're going to move Taylor to left as a defensive replacement, or if he's playing, you can have him at freaking second base or even short, and you can say, hey, we're going to move him to the outfield. So he's sort of like Kyron Paris, where they could be used in different ways, and if he can limit the strikeouts too and get on base, he can be a dangerous hitter too. So Newman's got to go. Drury's a one and done, meaning if he gets hot at all, Mateo, he will get a call up, but the moment he starts to suck, he's going to get cut. So there it is right there. Newman is on a 2-year deal, but I would have to think right now, if you had to balance them, both of them, I mean, you eat the money on Newman. It's not like you're paying him, number 6 money. Number 6 money is just, I could see why they've kind of held on to them. Roger was definitely annoying Mark today. Yes, he was. What's Roger saying? Roger's saying, and I'll end it with this. There is a ton of baseball left to be played, but you got to think of it this way. We are right here in the middle of all kinds of playoff activity. Revive in 25. There are so many things to do and so many things to be positive about. This bucket hat thing, the stadium looking nice and rusting away like an old ship in the middle of the ocean. It's so great to be an Angels fan. Yeah, he's going to be just fluffing Artie's genitals. Tony C says, Angels sign all their draft picks. I missed a game tonight by Lamont Wade Jr. Smash and like and share. I hope the Angels keep Campero up. Campero's on the low part of the lowest part of the totem pole, so he's first one down, especially with options. So I hate to say it, Tony, that dude's going to be down probably when Taylor comes back. And speaking of Taylor, can keep Taylor. He can play anywhere in his veteran postseason experience. MLA says you can't go anywhere yet, Todd. No pinches, mom. No pinches. Mom is way. We are winning. What winning? A la verga, Carbron. Don't fuck with me. I try. I try, MLA. I appreciate you making me speak Spanish because I failed Spanish in school. I failed English in school. So yeah. I probably, if Dan being a substitute teacher, he would have loved me in school. Campero will be camping out in Salt Lake soon. He sure will. All right. So with that being said, we got to a lot. We got to the sponsors. Again, if you're getting your tickets anywhere else other than 714 tickets, I don't know where you're getting them from. You're losing money. Number 2, be on the lookout for our Diamond Club free giveaway. Diamond Club tickets, free giveaway. No strings attached. So just keep that in mind. We'll have baseball tickets to be given away also randomly. And I will see you soon out at the game. And if you're not interested, I suggest you do get interested at Angel Stadium on the 30th of July. They're, those Halo boys that Fernando interviewed. They're going to be out there with their sheets and cloths and looking like angels with their little angel tops on. They're going to be out there in not 260. What is that? 238, I believe. So it's dead center field. They're going to try to take over and have all the white robed angels out there. So that should be pretty cool because we haven't had something like that in a very long time since Matsui Land, I think, when you had a whole section of fans being being in unison. Demetrio, no, they're not the KKK angels. They're not going to have hoods on. So yeah, that would I don't think you can carry torches into Anaheim Stadium. So that would not fly. All right, so everybody enjoy it, man. I mean, we won, right? And you still got, usually when the Angels are home right now, I'm either coming back from the game and it's like 12 midnight and, by the time we finish the show, it's into the next day. But being on the road, starting early and the Angels winning, we still went an hour and a half, which is 30 minutes longer than we usually go. But hey, we're not like that shitty podcast that only gives you 20 minutes and gives you a bunch of filler and commercials and pretends to be an Angel fan when he's actually living in North Hollywood or somewhere up north in Frisco or something like that. So yes, you have time to spritz now. And I kind of do. I have to tinkle right now. But that being said, we won, baby. And right now the Phillies are saying,
oh no, what happened? Oh no, how terrible. That's just awful. How terrible. Oh no.
Angels win, so you know what that means. I play you out with some Stukas. See you tomorrow afternoon. We will be here right after the game.